Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I know we got here early, but I think we can do better than that. Good morning. Yes, the minister sounds younger than the people who are actually young at the back there. You're wondering what's going on. Welcome to the National ICT Summit, Day 3. If you're just joining us for the first time, it's been a very interesting 3 days of discovering what is happening in the country, and I like the strides that the nation is, working towards. If, in case you missed us on Monday, we had something where there's a new town that has joined the ICT grid. That's it will join actually. So if we can join the minister tomorrow, it's tomorrow, right, Honorable Minister? Yes, to welcome Slip into the ICT, grid. That would be nice. But my name is Paul Mananjala. Most people call me Paul the Prince, including the minister. That was great. I was surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised. But I'm really excited to be here today because today is all about the youth. We're going to be discovering different strides that the young people are making towards, making innovations that will better our, ICT sector. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. It's all about the youth, and as you can feel from the energy that's coming from the front, it's going to be a very, very interesting day. And now I'm going to just get the program started with somebody who's also very youthful. Thank you for inviting me to this program, and she's been very hands-on with everything that's going on here. Please help me welcome Miss Linda Ipinge so she can kickstart the program for us. Excuse her if she comes to say, "Hey, what's up?" Because today she's got that, she's got that vibe today.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Yes, yes. Just to inform everybody, please tweet, Facebook, inform all those that can be here that we're live streaming, www.namibiaictsummit.na. www.namibiaictsummit.na. So we're live streaming. Everybody around the world is watching. Maybe not everybody, but everybody can have access to the proceedings of the day. Thank you so much, Paul, for the warm welcome. The ICT Summit transformed me, especially the third day. I had to change my dressing code. I'm usually not like that, so I had to, just to fit in with the youth. So thank you for transforming me for the day. Yes, Honorable Minister, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. The Honorable Yahir, thank you so much for joining us. Honorable Bisenidot, thank you very much. The youthful MP, I know. Yes, he's very passionate about the youth. Like Paul indicated, it has been excited. This is the third day. We had so many topics around ICT, but I think what I also need to emphasize is the fact of, we heard from the minister's speech the first day that October is Cyber Security Awareness Month. So we need to be aware of what is happening. As much as we embrace technology into our lives, it's very important that we are aware of the dangers that ICT brings. So just some tips. Please make sure that you don't share your passwords with somebody else. Could be, I think there was somebody that, the professor that talked yesterday to say, trust nobody but rather yourself. You never know what the person can do with your password. A lot of you will be using your password, the one you're using for internet banking is the one you're using for your Yahoo account, your Gmail account, your work account. Just imagine if somebody gets access to that, what can happen. And I also would like to advise you not to save your financial data. For example, very important. If somebody gets access to your financial data, your online banking, your password is there, you're so much in danger. So we need to be careful of what we getting ourselves into. And also importantly, I think we're excited to be mothers, to be fathers, parents in general. We sometimes overshare on social media. You know, I'll put up my daughter was born on this particular day, and I put her name, and the same name and the same year of birth is the same that I'm using for my password. So we should not overshare, and also be careful of what you post on social media, because that can haunt you maybe not in 5 years' time, it could be in 10 years' time. So we really have to be careful. As much as young or excited are we about ICT, please, let's be careful. You would find some people will be traveling, you there at the airport in Dubai, you saying, now in Dubai. Do you know what you're doing? You're telling the maybe not the cyber criminals, but the criminals on land, oh, how should I call them? You're telling criminals, actually, that you are away from your home. You know what they can do? They can break in your house because you're telling them you're around the world. So it's very important that we're careful of what we are saying, what we are writing, and what we are communicating to one another. So welcome to the third day. I'm so excited. I feel young at heart today. So I think for the rest of the year, I'll feel young at heart. So let the lessons of the 3 days be integrated into our thinking. I hope we're going to use that in our engagements and as we conduct ourselves. So welcome. Enjoy the rest of the day, and please be here. You might be wondering, the hall is not that full, but we're expecting many people to come. Some of the innovators could not be here with us, but as from tea break, I think we're expecting many youth innovators to join us, because some of them could not be released from their work where they are in the morning. They can only come and join us in the afternoon or the better half of the morning. So thank you so much for coming. I know there are those regulars. I must say, especially the representatives from the regional and local authorities. I give credit to you. And if I had a way, I would inform your bosses, the original heads, how committed you are. These are the people that are here before 8. They are here. So you committed. So you sent to this summit for a purpose. I'm grateful that you are such committed. Not that others are not on time, but I'm just saying those that came from the regions, normally I met them and they're always in the foyer waiting for the proceedings. So let's continue engaging one another. This is a networking session. Let's network. Let's just not be confined in our corners. We're here to network. Visit the exhibition stands and just get as much as information as possible and integrate ICT is in our lives. ICT is us. We can't live without that. So let's embrace it. Thank you so much. Paul on the stage. I think he has a surprise for us. The viewers will be excited about this. So, yeah. Yes, you're welcome, Paul.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Linda, for that wonderful information that you just shared with us. I know she told me I should sing something because I'm actually also an artist. People always wonder how many jobs I do, but I feel like if you can do something, just go ahead and do it. I think I'm that kind of person. So I did tell I was going to sing something before we get started. But just remember to ask your friends to log on. I know everybody's got family around the world or friends who probably couldn't make it today. So it's Namibia ICT Summit.na. That would be nice. Just tweet that, hashtag ICT Summit 2016 maybe, because we've had a couple of them. So that would be nice. All right, so let me see what song I can you want some R. Kelly? Is that some what? I thought he said R. Kelly. I'm still trying. Oh, R. Kelly's coming through, so maybe that would be nice. Okay, so I'll do "Storm Is Over," maybe just a bit of that, just some acapella. Donald, do you want to give me some of that reverb? All right. The storm is over now. And I can see the sunshine somewhere beyond the clouds. I can feel heaven is over me. Come on and okay, I thought everybody knows that song, but it's all right. It's one of those things, like you think like everybody knows it, but then you're still like, all right, okay, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I could just, a little request. Everybody's like a backbencher. Are you like one of those people when you go in a bus and you're at the back seat? Let's just come to the front so we can at least, Get the energy. Everybody's at the back. I don't know why you're hiding. I know we're streaming, but don't worry. We're not doing anything wrong here. We're actually here to have a very productive day ahead. So if we can just request the people to come in front so we can move on to the next item. It doesn't have to be really at the front seat. Especially at the back. I can see you. Yeah, right there. Yeah. There's juice. If that's going to make people come. I always ask my friend, like, what makes black people go to a party or somewhere? Like, it's always either free food or just anything free. Like, and I think it's true. If you just say, like, I'm having a party and there's free food, oh my goodness. Especially young people, if we say there was free food today, I bet you this side would have been full by now. So next time we'll do that. I think we'll start with that. You want to come to the ICT Summit? Yeah, there's free food. And everybody's going to come through. All right, so we can get that movement. Just a little addition on what Linda said, which is interesting. You know, young people these days, we like posting a lot of stuff on social media. I'm also an avid user of Facebook, Twitter, and, Instagram and everything like that. I've noticed everybody posts a picture of their plane ticket or passport when you're flying somewhere. I actually recently learned that's a security risk, especially when you post the barcode with your name, details, passport number, boarding, somebody out there can actually get your luggage or cancel your reservation with all that information. So make sure when you're posting your flights, just do it strategically. Just post half a passport, half the boarding pass. You don't show all the information online. And we always have this issue of passwords as well. People tend to forget passwords, so you don't know what to do with your social media passwords because there's a lot of accounts. You got Gmail, Facebook, Yahoo, you got Google. So one trick I learned is that you can make them in a sequence for everything. If you got Facebook, some people use the same password for everything, but that's kind of a risk as well. So you make them different, but just make it like a sequence. You can use numbers or some kind of letters or skip like odd numbers. Let's say if your Facebook password is password 2016, then you can make your Gmail password 2019, so you keep up to date with that. So it's also just a little tip. But I'm not going to dwell on that for a long time. I'm not really a keynote speaker, so I'm just going to, please help me welcome one of the people who's going to tell us something very interesting today, the Honorable Benedette Yacher, one of the members of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on ICT.
Good morning, everybody. Paul has lifted up my spirit. I feel very youthful. It's unfortunate that I did not dress myself up in a blue jeans. I have one. I almost did it this morning, but then I thought, come on. Thank you so much. Director of Ceremonies, the very youthful colleague, Honorable Chekero Tuya, the Minister of ICT. You must be a very proud minister. When I walked in the first day in this hall, I said, the minister must be very proud because everything seems well arranged. Did you feel proud?
Yes, I did.
Up to now, I believe so.
Because of the youth,
Yes. Fellow members of Parliament, and of course members of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on ICT, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information Communication Technology, Mr. Jarakana, Ms. Daisy Matthias, Presidential Advisor on Youth Matters and Enterprise Development, CEOs and board members of various institutions, esteemed sponsors and exhibitors, esteemed invited guests, members of the organizing committee of this beautiful third National ICT Summit, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very, very good and blessed morning. It is such a great honor to have been invited to speak at this important national event, which has grown by leaps and bounds over the past few years of its existence. It is worth mentioning that the organizers who prepared today's program for the third and last day of the National ICT Summit, picked a befitting theme, namely Youth ICT. In this regard, I will deliver my address that will hopefully inspire the youth of our country to innovate and transform the information and communication technology sphere. Some might ask, just where should I look for inspiration for ICT innovation? Well, if you want to be inspired, ladies and gentlemen, dear youth, you simply have to look around you and note the social and economic challenges faced by our fellow citizens and use ICT to solve, to improve, and grow our country, its people, and of course, our economy. Every innovation in the history of mankind was grounded in meeting a need that exists in the lives of people. ICT innovation is no exception. Therefore, I want to challenge the youth of our country to take a critical look at the society around them and use that which we see towards development. To put things into perspective, there used to be a time in the early days of computers when a single computer took up the entire space of your average size bedroom, for example, and had to be operated by specially trained engineers. Since then, the computer has become smaller in size, portable, and user-friendly for the ordinary person on the street. This is all due to the tireless work and ideas of the great innovators of their time who made the components smaller and the user interface less complex. These people innovated in response to the needs and problems society faced at that time. I hope the youth are yet inspired. Well, I hope so. Are you inspired? Oh, yes. If I'm not mistaken, I hear somebody who is not. Even better, the youth of today are growing up in what I would call the information age, where most of the information is available at just a click of a button. When you have an idea today and you decide to Google search on that idea, you will be surprised at how someone else on the other side of the world has already perfected the same idea. Ladies and gentlemen, our role as lawmakers is to create a conducive environment for innovation by making laws which give our citizens a sense of security by protecting their intellectual property rights and by providing an enabling ICT legislative framework that will hopefully inspire the next generation of innovators to invent groundbreaking ideas. Yesterday at the ICT Summit Gala dinner, the other day, not yesterday, the Honorable Minister admonished all who were in attendance at the event to think outside the box. Our young people should never allow themselves to sit idling. With the current economic status and the Fitch rating, it is time for the Namibian youth to find solutions to today's problems. With a bulging young population of 36.8% between the age groups of 15 to 34 years, it is imperative that you, the youth, start innovative ICT businesses. I'm sure you are saying, we don't have the start-up capital, madam, or the collateral to acquire a loan from the banks. Well, the Harambee Prosperity Plan outlines that it aims to improve MSME access to finance from the current 22% to 50% by 2020. It also aims to introduce new financial instruments aimed at overcoming the hurdle of collateralized credit for startups with viable business plans. It further aims to establish an SME development agency with country-wide representation by the year 2020. To establish 121 youth-owned rural enterprises, each permanently employing minimum of 5 to 10 youths by the year 2020. To overcome the challenge of collateralized lending, which is indeed a big obstacle for the youth, the Ministry of Finance, as the custodian of the financial sector strategy, will be tasked to expedite the SME financing strategy, which aims to establish a venture capital fund, a credit guarantee scheme, and the challenge fund aimed to enhance accessibility and affordability to the youth. Director of Ceremonies, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have planted some seeds of inspiration in your youthful minds. Namibia is a great country. This is our country. We need to take hands, pull together in one direction, and pave the way for generations to come. If you work hard, and I work hard, I am of the opinion that Namibia shall be saved from the many challenges we face on a daily basis. May God bless the youth of Africa in general and the youth of Namibia in particular. Having said that, Director of Ceremonies, I thank everybody for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Another round of applause, please. Now, she mentioned something interesting. You know, the young people these days, and I'm saying we, maybe I'm one of them, you know, we like to complain and not do something about it. And I think it's about time. I hope through the day, if you're going to be here until the end of the day, we're going to be inspired by the work of many young people that are going to be on this stage exhibiting what they've been working on, so we can also do something about it. Now, what I like about the minister is that he's also somebody who says he doesn't sleep at night because he wants to make sure, you know, the ICT sector is growing, and he does something about it. So he's going to be speaking very, very soon. But Honorable, he said something interesting about the computer that was first made in 1946, the same size as a room. Now look at where we are. We've got cell phones as computers. Nobody wants to buy big things anymore. We have cell phones in our pockets that do everything for us. So I think as we are advancing, it's good to use these opportunities as business strategies as well. The minister did mention something on Monday about, the new town that's having radio and cell phones. So that's, young people can also find a way to get in there and do something about it. But I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I think I'm going to invite the Honorable Minister one more time, in case you didn't come here on Monday, just to give us a brief summary on what he talked about in terms of the strides that the ministry is making in the ICT sector. Please help me welcome Honorable Tsekero Toya to the stage. I thought it was a dance move.
That is what happens when you get to my age.
I thought it was a
When you
dance
start
move.
walking and then you say, what is wrong? I can't hear any music. Why is he dancing? So that's the age. Director of Ceremonies, colleagues, Honorable Jager, Zeidenhout, distinguished fellow Namibians. As you can see, that the only gadget that we use today is the original gadget. I must first start by saying, Namibian youth, congratulations. This day is dedicated to you. I know that others are setting up their stands on the other side, and others maybe first to go and just to register at the classes or at the their own jobs, to get the others at work, that indeed they will still come because they know the day is dedicated for them. I will be joining you a little bit later. My colleague here, Honorable Jager, said Namibia is a great country. And let me share this with you. It is indeed a great country. 824,000 square kilometers. Those who still remember their geography are comparing this size to, apparently, you take the whole Germany 2 times in Namibia. And the population of Namibia is a mere 2.4 million. So, wow, what a big country. Yes, it is great. But I'll be leaving you now to join an international conference taking place simultaneously in this great country. In May, I was invited as one of the speakers at the WASIS, which is the World Information Society, organized by the UN in Geneva. And I met quite a number of people there. So, from where are you? Namibia. First they say, Libya. Because they cannot make a difference between Namibia and Libya. But then what struck me thereafter is that, look, we have not heard a lot about Namibia. But if Namibia have got leaders like yourself, then we want to go see that place. Maybe they have got more and better than you. Because I do not know what I said So I said, I do not know what I said. But I know what I said, yes. Why they suddenly now develop that interest wanting to see where this fellow comes from, I have got no clue. Now, most of them, ranging from the US, are right now gathered at Safari Hotel. So I then extended to some of them also the invitation there. And they have decided to have what is called, the Africa Alliances on ICT, the whole African continent. They started with 6 countries, now they are around 26 countries, and the others are only in observer status, to address the issue of ICT in the continent. They've decided to pick up Namibia to come and pave the future of ICT of the continent in Namibia. Don't expect any ICT Windhoek declaration. We have too many declarations. We will not have that declaration. Who knows? They may have got a Safari declaration instead of Windhoek or Namibia declaration. But really, I want us to start thinking about technology. Who does not use a piece of technology? An unemployed, the person who does not work and earn any living, would have to listen to a radio, or he would have to have a cell phone, or a TV, or want to read a newspaper, or something. And I want you to bear me out whether it is true. An unemployed, you give him or her money, $100. This unemployed does not have food to eat. In terms of priority of spending of that money, will he or she first buy bread or cool drink, or what would he or she first buy? He would first think of airtime. Why? Because he or she wants to be connected. You don't want to be alone. Either to say, send for me money, I am bankrupt. So you don't need to be an ICT guru to use technology. An elderly person, I don't want to say like myself, because the real old people would refer to me as this boy. This is why I refer to myself as a senior youth. I must make room for princedom, you know, because the bottleneck is becoming small here on top. So I can't be staying now youth, so I must make room so that there is no competition, you know, that rush, the explosion, because these old people don't want to give us space. So we must move to allow them also to live their lives in full. I was told that this one senior citizen never liked computers. So, oh, these things of yours. And then his son started taking him through, as a farmer, for that matter. You see, Daddy, this thing, you don't need to have qualification for this. It is only a tool. If you want to know when the auction will take place, what prices, so that you can prepare yourself, all that you need to do, you do this. And he took his dad through, you switch on, and then you go where there. I said, no, it's too complicated. I don't want to break. I said, no, just take it easy. So he took him through. But the old man felt challenged and said, well, I cannot be won by this thing. So when his son left, he took chance himself. And believe me, when he got back after some time, he said, my son, this is the best thing that you ever taught me. I taught you to be a man, but you taught me to the world's information database. Because now I know, if I want to know Jan wanneer hy nou sy auction het en Bredenham en al hierdie pryse, ek gaan self daar en ek is nou meer wiser. And then we had an ICT SADC ministers in Walvis Bay last year. In conclusion, we were talking of everything ICT. Some of us were saying, look, I am a BBC. And then the young people thought that you mean BBC, that British Broadcasting Corporation, and because that's all they know, the Bonfries. And then the other one said, no. BBC, born before computers. I said, really? And then he said, No. As if it is not enough. I am a new ICT minister. When I was appointed, I was now back home and I was bragging about, how ICT, suddenly I had become, because I'm now in charge of ICT. And then his wife said, we shall see this ICT. Wait, that day when we will have a paperless toilet papers. We're talking about paperless because of the ICT. Say, no, we don't use papers anymore. So wait, we'll see that day when we'll have a paperless toilet paper. In fact, in areas like Japan, they already have got paperless toilet papers. Do you know that? You see, that is what technology is. I did not want to believe, but my colleague is not here. I was last year at the ITU Summit, and I saw this paperless toilet paper. You really just get in there, and all that you do, you press a button for the water to come and do what they need to do. So when I refer to think outside the box, somebody was remarking and said, we are not supposed to be in the box in the first place. What are you doing in the box? But human beings are made like that. You need a parameter to operate from and to operate within. So ICT is a challenge that is here. In today's papers, I read how disappointed I was, and I'm still disappointed. And I am trying to appreciate and understand that even if we have got paperless money, you will still need the banks. But what the banks in this country still don't realize is that bank is only a physical infrastructure. So, e-bank does not have, we're talking of e-banking. You don't need always to have this physical infrastructure. You only need the systems to do that. And these are the challenges that I want to pose to the Namibian youth. I want them to become bank owners so that the current banks one day will think and say, we were warned once that we must be players. You know, at the moment, the farmers, like Skuman here, he does not need to go to his farm to manage his farming activities. He is here in Windhoek, and he does not need that big computer. Only this smartphone, everything is there. So if his worker tells him because of drought and say, o noem hulle jou nog Bas Skuman. Hy sê, o meneer, daai anderskap, die jakkals het hom gevang. The jackal has caught that one other. All that he would say is, really? Why can't you just send for me the picture so that you see? Believe me, daai jakkals met 2 bene sal nie daar wees nie. But those days, they will tell you of so many jackals. But nowadays, all that you need, because the jackal will never eat all the bones. So it's all right, just send me the picture. They know that's how you manage them. Anything, you don't need to be there. you stay connected. 100% network. This is what it can unlock in this country. In the Harambee Prosperity Plan, we talk of ICT procurement, that we don't want the papers anymore. You do it through electronic. Now the farmer, even if he or she can afford a computer to access that tender, he or she cannot access it. The banks, and this is what I'm talking about, the banks, including Bank of Namibia, said no huge cash or even phasing out of check payment. Now these farmers that are doing business and farming activities do not have this infrastructure there. You force them to come to town. You are putting unnecessary financial burden onto them. But if they have got network on their farms, they can access that infrastructure and can do their payments there without traveling kilometers to get to town. Money and time wasted. But the banks are making policies to further disenfranchise those potential clients. That behavior is curtailing or defeating the purpose of fighting that poverty, because you are impoverishing them to spend the little that they have to travel to get to town. For if you take the service to them, they can use that money for something else. But now, they are not there. And they're supposed to be there to provide funding for that infrastructure to beef out and unlock that economic potential that is there. Think outside the box. That is what I mean. And I know exactly why they did not come, because I will tell them, think outside the box, because you are now becoming irrelevant. But be it as it may, I will not stop saying that. And this is why I have taken that bold decision to honor the young people that are willing to work and to grow and sustain the economy of this country, because they understand it better. I salute you, Namibian youth, because you really know what economic growth is, and you really know what the economic struggle is all about. And I don't want to stop talking. You know, when I start talking about ICT, etc., it goes on and on. That, what is going to happen today, Honorable Yahari reminded us as legislators, and this is why we are together as legislators, in terms of recognizing through patenting, registering your ideas, so that nobody steals that idea. I followed. There was one young person who designed a solution in the form of an application to help parents monitor the behaviors of their children at schools. But unfortunately, because it's a Namibian solution, we don't take it seriously. But when it is Zuckerhoff, what is this guy with Facebook? I don't know. Zakharov or something like that. He is overnight a billionaire. You don't even realize it. Even the Microsofts, the Googles, the Twitters is one individual. They milk you with their ideas. You have got the same idea. What prevents us as Namibia? An application that would help grow the SMEs of this country to challenge, not copy, but to challenge Alibaba. You know Alibaba? I met this, when you see him, you will go past him. He's a billionaire. Maybe by now he's a trillionaire. Very youthful, small person, but he's a billionaire. What does he do? You do your shopping online. But what prevents us from doing the same? That application being developed here, and you start from down south. These SMEs that are either at the SMEs or along the road or in Okahanja, they put all their products online. And you order that, or a tourist coming to Windhoek, you order that today from Keetmanshoop or Marintal. When Nempost delivers their products from Windhoek down south, on their way they pick it up the next day. You have exactly the same item here. What is different? That is what ICT can do when I say ICT can be a tool to fight poverty eradication. I want us to think outside the box. And that box, because I was trained in that box, I was trained by the British, I was trained by the Americans. So I know those boxes that I'm talking about. This is why I'm defying it, because it has not helped me to be a better person. So, let's take this thing seriously, but every time ask yourself, what is your contribution? Can you make it better for your fellow human being? If the answer is no, I don't want to encourage commit suicide, but only tell yourself, no, I should do better. This is why you're in school. You know, the mathematics that we used to have, loss opfer x. You know that x? X does not have a name, meaning any problem. And then the teacher would tell you, I'm not interested how you get the answer, as long as you give me the correct answer. Sometimes you take long, sometimes you just take shortcut. But as long as you give the correct answer, then I'll ask and say, all right, now how did you get here? As long as you explain. That is why you are encouraged to think for better. And this is why education is a key. But sometimes we make this statement loosely. Fellow Namibians, let me wish you a very successful Youth ICT Day, and let us make Namibia a better Namibia by pulling together in one direction. May God bless us in all our endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. That was very insightful. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I hope we picked up everything, not just one thing from there. I know it was quite lengthy, but very, very insightful. I just want to recognize the presence of Jan Moore, grade 11 learners. Welcome. Yeah, you guys got interesting haircuts. Now it's for real. Okay. All right. Now I've got a few goodies to give away, but for what, an ICT summit. So I need people to answer a few questions in order to win the. Are you sure? They're all related to ICT, and no use of Google is allowed. Okay. So no use of Google. That is the rule. I need volunteers. I've got goodies to give away. It's like a variety bag. You're going to enjoy this one, courtesy of all the sponsors and some of the exhibitors that are here today. Nobody? I know there's young people here. It's very easy questions. General knowledge, tech questions. Okay, I see somebody there. I need one more person. There's 2 bags. You have one. You know the IT stuff. But it's only young people. There's nobody else, senior youth? Okay, all right, I'll get started because I know people are not going to come to the stage, so I'm going to follow you. Let me just turn this on, this mic. All right, so this is not really how to be a millionaire. This is how to be a winner. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and I need correct answers for both of them for you to win this. Okay, first of all, sir, what is your name?
My name is Given.
Given. All right, Given, you can just stand up so everybody can see you this side. In case they think I'm giving it to my friend, I do not know him. I've just seen him today for the first time. You know how it is in Africa when you hear there's something to give away. You have to, don't forget me. Yeah, you know. All right, so Given, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. How many kilobytes are in a megabyte? 1 megabyte. No whispering of answers. I hear you, bro. There's somebody back there trying to give him the... Hey, think about it. I'll give you like 10 seconds. How many kilobytes make a megabyte? We always complain about data on our phones. No, TN Mobile is stealing my bundles. Now you have to know how this data moves. So 1 megabyte is equivalent to how many kilobytes?
24.
No. It's higher than that. There's somebody at the back there who knows the answer. He's looking at you like, yo. Now, oh no, now everybody wants to take part now. Okay, now you see how easy the questions are. All right, I'll give you one more chance. What? Hey, somebody at the back, that's like cheating. Hello. All right, just think about it again. How many kilobytes make 1 megabyte?
1,024.
There you go. That is more like it. All right. I know somebody gave you the answer there. You were like, because how you move from 24 to 1,024 is very interesting. Somebody would have gone to 500 there. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you one more question because, you know, just to make sure it's legit, that you know what's going on. What do the letters OS stand for?
Operating system.
All right, there you go. There you go. All right, just give me back my microphone. Thank you. So that was Given. Does anybody else want to take part? Oh, so now, why is it only somebody who's, okay, guys, I'm going to get back to you. We still have a couple of these to give away later. But beware, the next questions are not that easy. Okay, no problem. You sure, like, technology is your stuff? Like, are you sure, like, this is the stuff you like? I hope you know what you're signing up for. Yeah, it's good to try. Okay, here you go. I'm putting the bag close so you know it can be yours if you just take this right. All right. Let me think of an easier question. Huh? No, I'm not gonna Google it. Okay. Do you have internet in your house, or are you familiar with how it works? Okay, I need somebody who's not from telecom. I see Zenobia there, so she might know what I'm talking about. I need you to tell me what ADSL is.
Excuse me?
ADSL.
ADA.
ADSL. I'll give you a clue. It involves telephone lines. But what is it all about? Just a brief.
It connects telephone lines and Wi-Fi together.
Wi-Fi. No. Okay, not really. Not really. You're like close. But think about it again. I'm giving you a clue. Telephone lines, and you put the other piece together. But what is ADSL? You were close. It's in the same region of what you were thinking about.
HDLSL.
No, ADSL. I know it sounds confusing with the acronym.
ADSL. Oh, asymmetry.
Oh no! Don't describe it. Just tell me what it is.
Okay. Now I know. It's a network, but then it doesn't need a modem to connect to Wi-Fi.
Zenobia,
to
is that
connect
correct?
to internet.
There's somebody here who said no.
No.
Somebody knows it here. Who knows the answer? Like, who can just tell me what ADSL is?
Access internet.
Oh, okay. The senior youth has got an answer. Let me see that. Give me the microphone. I'm gonna get.
Last time.
What? You can only get 2 chances, unfortunately. Just give me that. I want to get his answer. I hope you're not using Google, sir. No Google allowed, rather. Yeah.
Is it the abbreviation?
Okay. If you
But I
give me
see what's ADSL.
what it is, just give me like a brief description.
Synchronized digital subscriber line.
Okay. That's correct. Okay, no. Sanobia said no, but what is it? What is it? If I say I have ADSL in my house, it's very easy though. Like you'd be surprised. If I give the microphone to her, you will know that you know it. It's just it's just that it sounds confusing.
I'm thinking you asked for ADSL, so I just give you the definition of
Okay.
ADSL.
I'll give you half a mark. I'll get you something from the bag. But now I want to give it to one of the experts. Oh wait, there's somebody here who knows what it is. Okay. Are you sure? Like you're gonna give me like the juice, the real stuff.
I'm not really sure, but I think it's when your downloading speed is faster than your uploading speed. No, yes.
But you know what? We're all here to learn. Zenobia, please help me do the honors. Zenobia works with Telecom Namibia, and she deals with these things every day. So ADSL is something that is very easy. Zenobia, what is ADSL? But you're not going to get the bag because some of the things are from your company. So it's like,
Really?
So yeah.
I can answer what I got.
yeah, because I'm going to ask another question, just so we learn, because we're all here to learn, that kind of thing. Here you go.
ADSL, it's like a wireless internet, but you have to have a modem for the lady that's in front. So it's an internet connection line, so you can have like voice data included.
Yeah. All right, so ADSL uses telephone lines connected to your modem. You got voice and data. So that's what ADSL is. So that's why when you go to your ISP and you want ISP, an internet service provider, you've got options. Do you want voice or do you want data or do you want both? So ADSL is having both voice and data through telephone lines and you need a modem for it. So I know it sounded confusing with the acronym, but that's what it is. Now I need somebody else. This is not going to be that hard. Who else wants to win a bag? I don't know what I'm putting in front of the minister. He doesn't need this one. So okay, all right. Are you sure about this? Like you know what you're doing now? Where did I leave my cell phone? Did I leave you my cell phone here somewhere? That might be true, eh? Given, did I leave it there? No, I'll find it soon. Okay. All right. Now I'm trying to find something easy for you to answer. Now I asked him how many kilobytes are in a megabyte, so you can tell me how many megabytes are in a gigabyte. You get that message from you get that away gig, right?
Yeah.
And I know you see this all the time when you check your balance. You just got away gig. You have so and so MB in your account.
1024.
There you go. Okay, all right. I'm going to ask you another one. So it's the same sequence in case people get confused. It's the same. Don't get confused with it. It's just 1024 where they go from KB to MB to terabyte. So, all right. So now I need one more answer from you. And then the bag is yours. Now, TV has developed over the years. We used to have CRT TVs, cathode ray tube. You ever heard of President TV? You have to hit it, change the channel. You were the remote control because your parents be like, hey, change the channel. Yeah, those TVs. Yeah, but now we got something new. Stuff like this. What does LCD stand for? Who is whispering? I can hear. Do not whisper. I know you want to share the goodies. Do you have an idea at
Yeah,
least?
I have. Is it liquid crystal display?
Somebody whispered that answer to you, but it's correct. But it's correct. These guys came to cheat. But okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for our participants this morning. Here you go. All right, so don't worry. In the afternoon, I'll ask very easy questions. I should call your number.
No, you can call your own number. And you'll hear it.
I actually put it on silent, eh? So that is true. I might have dropped it, but okay, I'll try and find that. But before we move on to our next item, all right, I think we're ready for our next item. All right, guys, I hope we picked up a few things. Oh, here it is. Well, thank you. I thought, when you're in Windhoek, I always tell my friends, it's kind of like South Africa, hey? Yo, don't just leave your things lying around. Somebody say we don't come for the same reason, and that's true. It is true. I'm not saying anybody, I'm just saying. Nah? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are enjoying the day so far. We still have a long program ahead of us. Not that long, but for the people who just joined us, food is provided at lunchtime. I know you're probably worried, like, we're so far away, but far is the course. It's there. It's there at 1 o'clock. But we're going to move on to our next item, and this is one of our guest speakers today. And I can't wait to hear what she has for us. Please help me welcome the Youth Matters and Enterprise Development, one of the ladies who's actually the presidential advisor for the Youth Matters and Enterprise Development, Miss Desiree Matthias.
Thank you very much, Director of Proceedings. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am the next item, and I'm ready. I think looking at the audience and also looking at how jovial the atmosphere is, I'm not going to stick to a formal statement. So please permit me to recognize the Minister in his absence, to recognize the Honorable Member of Parliament, and to recognize the Permanent Secretary and senior government officials, and to greet you all, youthful innovators and exhibitors today to the ICT Youth Day event. I'm honored to be a part of this occasion and to be able to deliver a few remarks on this inaugural and memorable occasion. It is the first time that the ICT Summit has amended the program and added a third day just to deal with matters of youth in ICT and to host some exhibitions. And I think it is a very commendable and can I have some water, please? The next item is not ready. There's no way to put it. You're very kind, please. Let's try that again. Thank you very much for having me to participate in this program. I'm honored to participate. I would like to commend the ministry for amending the program and recognizing that it is indeed necessary to focus discussions just on matters related to young people in ICT. I think it is a very necessary addition, but also a very progressive, commendable, and complementary, really, to what has already been a very stimulating two-day program. It's not to say that it was lacking, but you've just strengthened the program. So for that, I applaud the ministry and the organizers on the preparatory committee. My statement this morning is not a presentation. I'm really just going to have a conversation with you on things that are focused on the role of digitizing for development in Namibia, and also how we as government endeavor to implement some of the initiatives to create a more conducive environment so that those of you who are in this sector will be able to start up and to sustain your enterprises and to propel our development forward. The hallmark of the leadership of our president, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, has been captured in the notion of shared prosperity and inclusive growth. And a seasoned scholar himself, who did his doctoral thesis on the subject of promoting democracy and good governance, the president has put inclusive growth and shared prosperity at the center of government's developmental approach. And this is because sustained political and democratic success and the stability of Namibia hinges largely on shared and inclusive socio-economic growth. Simply stated, the only sustainable growth that we can enjoy is if it is shared and it is inclusive growth. So this vision of the president for prosperity has necessitated his declaration of all-out war on poverty and concomitant inequalities. And the Harambee Prosperity Plan, to that end, is the country's accelerated development plan, an impact plan that is aiming to fast-track our progress indicators, our development in clearly defined priority areas. So you will agree with me that if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. So this has really looked at what are those critical success factors that need to gain traction so that we can move forward and leapfrog in our efforts to industrialize and become a prosperous nation by 2030. As you may be well aware, and I'm sure many of you have heard the president narrate the Namibian House. How many of you have heard him narrate the Namibian House? Very few. I'm not going to focus on the house, but what I can give some context on is that the Harambee Prosperity Plan has been built on the construct of a strong, a united, and an inclusive Namibian house, where no one feels left out as a resident staying and living in this house. The plan has also been established on a very strong foundation. The foundation, as you know, when you're building a house, is what determines whether the structure will stand or fall. And the foundation that we're building on in Namibia is one of peace, is one of stability, reconciliation, and security. And the priority of this plan is to identify critical success factors that are going to enable us to propel our development and to usher our nation into the next era, which is the era of prosperity. So these critical success factors, as you've seen the image of that colorful house, are the pillars. These pillars are what needs to be in place so that Namibia can develop and enjoy a prosperous dispensation. There are 5 pillars, and I'm sure you're familiar with them. One is effective governance, economic advancement, social progression, which is red because that is the heart of the matter, the people. Then a green one on infrastructure development, where you find yourself in ICT and international relations, which is the fact that we are also part of a global community and we want to maintain our role as a sovereign state, impacting and supporting other sovereign states surrounding us. So looking at the green pillar, which is your pillar on infrastructure development, ICT enjoy a dedicated sub-pillar. The Harambee Prosperity Plan is built on 5 critical success factors that Namibia has prioritized. But within these 5 critical success factors, we have got many sub-pillars, which are our priorities. There are 15 sub-pillars and 43 targets that we want to accomplish through the Harambee period. Under the sub-pillar for infrastructure development, we have set ourselves as government and as Namibians, civil society and individuals, citizens, 5 goals and 5 outcomes. And in order for us to achieve these goals and outcomes, the plan has really detailed, given responsibilities with timelines to which responsible offices, ministries, agencies would be responsible to implement the strategic activities. For this year alone, there are 9 strategic activities that are being implemented as part of the Harambee Prosperity Plan that are talking directly to infrastructure, capacity building, infrastructure development, and human resource access, and the issue of equity. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on what those plans are, because I'm sure for the preceding better part of this summit, you have been discussing the policy matters, the broadband policy, information access, and the honorable members of parliament here who are on the standing committee, and I'm sure they have expounded to you at length what the strategic activities are. It's important to scope, though, as young people who are working in ICT, that you should not be confined and limited only to that green sub-pillar that says ICT. First of all, it doesn't have to say youth in order for it to be a program that is benefiting a young Namibian person. And it also doesn't have to say ICT in order for it to be an opportunity for you to respond with an innovation or a service that is in the field of information and communication technology. What I'm really saying is that government is grappled with a lot of competing priorities. We're dealing with shelter, we're dealing with food security, agriculture, water and sanitation, energy security and provision. And there's an opportunity in all of these priorities to introduce innovation and to introduce solutions that are ICT based. So looking at the Harambee Prosperity Plan, from the very first pillar, which talks about effective governance, you can see the role of information and communication technology very clearly in efficient service delivery, in effective governance, to enhance and to strengthen the public sector and the civil service. So innovation is increasingly being regarded as an essential component to our development, and innovative problem solving can be regarded as the fluid, or if I can say the golden thread that is weaving between all these competing priorities for development. It's becoming a critical issue. It's becoming the resolution or the problem solving for critical issues in our communities, and it is one way that we can actually leapfrog our development in very difficult conditions. The conditions that I'm referring to are the global economic conditions, which are affecting a large majority, but also Namibia is no exception too. And it's in tough times really that you begin to think differently. It's in tough times that you start to value the impact of your dollar, and you start to reconsider how you're spending and how you're doing things with the objective for you to gain a bigger impact with the little that you have. So in these challenging times, it's actually the opportunity for ICT to think deeper and to propose solutions that can save government money, that can enhance our efficiency, and that can improve on our effective service delivery. So innovation and ICT are no longer just a nice to have, but probably becoming a prerequisite and becoming that sixth invisible golden thread that is present in every discussion. When we talk about solving food security, we are saying how can we use innovation and technology to enhance food supply? How can we use innovation to address the backlog that we're struggling with for housing? Alternative technologies, alternative methods. What can we do for energy through innovation and technology? How can we respond to our water crisis and water management using innovation and technology? That is the paradigm, and that is the thinking, and that is your opportunity, considering the context. How many of you in here have prepared or developed an app or a product unsolicited? No one has requested you to do it, but you thought you're responding to a need in the market, but when you presented it, that's nice. It's a really nice thing to have, but I'm sorry, we don't have the budget. We're just trying to feed the people, and your app is maybe next year's budget. So that's the paradigm that I'm personally a proponent of, to say we need to bring the two together, and innovation solutions should be seen as part and parcel of the response to the challenges that we're facing with our limited and constrained resources. Of course, they must be reasonable as well. Namibia's ICT infrastructure and sector growth are very advanced. I'm sure you've heard about all the capacity that we have and the continuous investment that government is making to strengthen the infrastructural capacity that we do have. The investment so far has boosted sectoral infrastructural capacity and has enabled us today to be able to sit with a bandwidth surplus and to have more Namibians who are having access to mobile telephony than ever before. I think we're on a rate of 120 mobile phones for every 100 people. So there's a oversubscription, 2 cell phones, dual SIM cards. And I hope I'm not misunderstood here, but we have a higher penetration of mobile telephony than we do of electricity, which shows to you the extent of the reach of the handset. And that is a very big potential that we can respond to and leverage and optimize. But equally, electricity is being prioritized under Harambe, and we do have directives to electrify rural areas, which are the most excluded. So the opportunity here is to ensure that individuals, that businesses, and government institutions are making the best possible use of that available infrastructure. And this is by mainstreaming, and it reiterates really the notion I was mentioning before, to say that innovation and technology should be seen as part and parcel of the response plan to projects and programs. And this is where digitization can bear significant benefits to our economy, to the society, and to the efficient and the effective functioning of the public sector, which includes public service delivery. How? It is proven that digitization improves quality of life through convenience It can boost citizens' access to public services, and it enables government to operate with a greater level of transparency, accountability, and efficiency. And I'm sure you've seen through this administration that there has been a lot of concerted effort to enhance and strengthen transparency and accountability. And in internet, you're very kind. Maybe you should stay here. Thank you so much. So in this social media age of Facebook and Instagram, WhatsApp, the Snapchat, Twitter, we have become a force of integration. We are closer together than we think. It brings us closer together as countrymen and women. It brings us closer together on the continent, SADC region, Africans. It brings us closer together as a global village. During the President's official mission to the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly, the President participated in a number of side events, and he delivered public lectures and talks at renowned universities in the US. And thanks to technology and innovation, thanks to Periscope, all the public talks and all the statements were streamed live online. And to our surprise, Namibians were waking up in the wee hours of the morning to tune in real time and listen to the statements of the President. And more so, because of the functions and features of this technology, we could connect with Namibians in the diaspora. We had people coming in from Russia who said, we really feel included and we're part of the narrative back at home and we understand what's happening, and that's thanks to technology. It's really game-changing, and this is just one example of the role of innovation to help with leadership on a global leadership forum, to help to enhance and strengthen democracy through transparency and access to information. But it's also game-changing because it can begin to transform the way that we are doing things. Sooner or later, we won't even need to issue the traditional press release anymore. Because by the time you've streamed live, Shinovene from the Namibian has already seen and tweeted, and he already has his headline for the next day. There's no need for you to issue that traditional statement. So there's tremendous power and influence in the technologies that we are adopting and using. And we've seen the same happening online with real-time, with Facebook Live and all these other developments. So these online social networks have presented many positive spin-offs, and also they've intensified what we call the second trade of diplomacy and cultural exchange and cultural promotion. And what we're seeing here is how many of you are on Twitter? Really? How many of you are on Facebook? Who am I talking to? Is this not an ICT summit? So why are you not all digital natives? To my surprise, really. The point I'm trying to make, and Twitter more than Facebook is a closed community, so you can control who sees your content. But on Twitter, it's the World Wide Web, and whatever you put out there is out there. And what that means for us as a small state in a big neighborhood and global economy is every single one of our citizens who are active online have become an ambassador of Namibia to the world that is looking in. And this has helped Namibia and has helped many nations in terms of cultural promotion and cultural exchange, and we have now deemed it the second trade diplomacy. No longer just a diplomatic corps that has been commissioned by the government, but we are also talking about citizens playing a role in amplifying the narrative, in branding the country, in positioning and telling the Namibian story to the world that is looking in. And that is the power of technology, that is the power of the internet, and specifically of innovations on platforms such as those that I've mentioned. How do we leverage this? The challenge we have is that this round-the-clock news, these electronic newsletters, this information age where everything is available at the tip of a button, can also present a challenge to us because every second there's information being shared and transmitted. Now, the most remote young Namibian child in the furthest village, provided they have a data-enabled phone, has got access to information. One, it's good for knowledge, it's good for human resource capacity building and development. However, the challenge for leadership, the challenge for democracy is that they also have access to your Instagram, to your Twitter. They also now can witness the opulence, the excess, the lives of those, the privileged who have when they don't have. The ramifications of this is that we cannot delay development because the expectations are rising. We have to propel our plan so that we move forward with vigor in order for us to close the inequality gap. Because what happens is when you have, over a concerted period of time, a number of members of your community and your society who are witnessing but are not participating in this Namibian house and they're feeling left out, it can create feelings of impatience, and it can create feelings of injustice, and that is where the frustration brews. So the information age is a double-edged sword. But government and governments across the world are embracing it, and we are leveraging the ability to be accountable to citizens, to be transparent to citizens, and to have a participatory approach in discussion engagement through using these channels, but very mindful of the consequences also. But I believe Harambee, these are some of the insights that have informed the development and the formulation of the Harambee Prosperity Plan to say, in Namibia, we must make ICT a priority. This is also further reinforced by the President's renaming of the ministries when he broke up created two education ministries, and he introduced innovation, higher education, training, and innovation, to put the emphasis and the impetus on the role of innovation in development. Generally, digitization refers to the mass adoption of connected digital services, both by consumers, business enterprises, and government. And it has emerged in recent years that one of the key economic drivers that accelerate growth and enablers of the distribution of socio-economic benefits is digitization. In the current global climate and conditions, there is an opportunity, as I've mentioned before, for us to respond to the challenges by enhancing the efficiency and the effective of service delivery. And there's a role and opportunity also for you to assist policymakers to spur economic growth and employment. And I think it's to that end that we really have very big proponents, I know, in our parliament who are driving the innovation agenda because of that opportunity that we need to respond to. The opportunity of a lifetime should be taken within the lifetime of the opportunity. And the challenge that we are faced with is that the space of ICT is so dynamic. And what we know today is not guaranteed for the next 12 months. So we have to also be very agile and responsive and flexible to these trends as they are emerging, so that we can optimize, so that we can leverage, and so that we can be impactful in our plans. But I believe the right people are in the room and are driving the agenda. The basic principle that you as a young innovator in the sector of ICT need to apply in your development is SAM. I call it SAM. It's an acronym for going to the marketplace. Your solution needs to focus on solving a problem, a community problem, a national problem, a government problem. You are solution oriented. You need to address an issue in the community that is disturbing the peace, an issue that is undermining progress and development, and you need to meet a need. And this is because you need to be competitive, and this is because you need to stimulate some kind of demand. No one is going to buy something they don't need. No one is going to buy something that doesn't address an issue that they're struggling with. No one is going to respond to a solution that does not solve a problem. So SAM should be the tenet that you apply in your approach to development and problem solving. Don't forget that. Government through Harambee intends to commence with the implementation of e-education, e-health, e-agriculture, e-finance, we call it e-governance. And the leading office here is the Office of the Prime Minister. It's being driven at the highest level, and this is because we recognize that we can strengthen public service delivery if we leverage the e-sector, the efficiencies that are presented with technology. It is a priority in Harambee, and I believe there is a roadmap that is being implemented already to that end, and 10 ministries are going to pilot with this e-governance pilot. What does that mean for you? You should put your thinking cap on and not apply yourself to all 10 ministries, but to identify a sector and say agriculture or finance or industrialization or education or health, and say, where can I come in? Applying SAM. What is the problem? What are the issues? What are the needs? One of the challenges that, and it's a point of reflection for policymakers, which we are well aware, is the ecosystem is not completely coherent. And in the beginning, because we are still at the beginning of our innovation trajectory, we must admit that we are still in the teething stages of our innovation trajectory. So there's a lot of room for us to build the coherency and the robustness of that landscape. And one of the challenges that face innovators in the ICT sector is the demand, the market and supply dynamics. Because it's an innovation space, it's a space that is usually unsolicited. You know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you're in food, if you're in clothes, if you're selling oxygen, you always have business, because we need those things to survive. But the moment you start to move into areas of self-actualization and relationship and connecting people through technology, it becomes optional. It's not biogenic. It's it's whether or not we can afford it. And in a developing country like Namibia, with the socio-economic profile and the challenges that we're faced with employment and young people who are struggling to have income, the subject of discretionary income and discretionary spend becomes very, very limited. So products and the markets for innovation products are also struggling. And this is a paradigm that needs to be addressed holistically, and I'm hoping that through the upcoming bills and policies that are going to address some of these things, we can really enforce the provisions that are going to make room for some responsiveness to the market. And I think there's a paradigm on leadership that also needs to be transformed a bit to respond to the innovations of young people, and not only to impose what is required, but to also be receptive on how it could make the economic case and add value within the setting of a business or a government agency. Some other points for reflection for policymakers are the defining role of digitization in our industrialization and employment creation agenda. How many of you know what Vision 2030 says? I've said it before, so I've helped you. What are we working towards in 2030? We want to see a Namibia that is and developed by its own people. An industrialized and prosperous Namibia developed by her own human resources. Industrialized is industry, its value addition is manufacturing. Prosperous is quality of life. And that quality of life is not only about prosperity of money, but it means your entire experience, whether you have access to the basic needs of life. Of course, we measure prosperity differently because we have different measures for what is a quality of life. A woman in a rural village who has access to a water borehole will be more prosperous than one who does not have access to the well. But in an urban setting, we have got different measures and indicators for what prosperity means. So when we're saying a prosperous Namibia, we're not saying opulence, we're saying quality of life. Developed by her own human resources really talks to capacity building, and that it is you and I and our problem-solving abilities and competencies that are going to create the value in Namibia. The challenge with industrialization and our industrial ambition is the more mechanized you are. I'm sure if there are any miners in the room, they can attest that very heavily mechanized industries and businesses require less human resources. So there's always been this healthy contention between digitization and employment creation for developing economies. Developing economies need to create the jobs, and we need to have labor-intensive industries. So as we become more industrialized, we become more mechanized, we become more sophisticated, we also lose more people. So we need to define, and the champions of the sector, I believe, are doing so, to define the role of digitization within industrialization. And the contribution I can make is really to indicate that the digitization happens on the peripheries of the industries that are being industrialized and being mechanized. There are a lot of services that come around one industry. So it can be a very big sector, but it would require some basic services. And these services are the ones that would use innovation and information technology products in addition to the industry itself. I hope that has come out clearly. Another challenge is trade, and looking at the size of our market as a country, the need for mass employment creation for our country, especially for young people, and also looking at our consumptive capacity. How much can we consume? We can only consume as much as we have discretionary and disposable income. And when there are contractions, it also undermines our ability to consume. What I'm really trying to say is we need to look beyond borders and begin to look at intra-African trade and look at trade within the region, look at trade within Africa. And we are strategically positioned, geographically, we are strategically positioned with our ICT infrastructure to become an exporter of services, information communication services. And I don't want to repeat what has already been said, because I attended the last ICT Summit when the First Lady delivered her address, but I think it's relevant just to mention that there are some services that can really be niche and set out for Namibia, including services such as telephony, database centers. What do they call them? Data centers, where you can provide services. How many of you have received a call from India? But they're providing the service for a multinational. Those are the kinds of opportunities we have. Why? We are a predominantly English-speaking country. We have got very good literacy rates, and we have people who are able, we are friendly in terms of our nature, who are able to actually deliver these kinds of services. It's one opportunity for Namibia to position themselves, if I can borrow the concept of Silicon Valley, within the region. We are presented with a tremendous opportunity. We recognize the opportunity that the development, the innovation, and the wave of innovation is imminent. It will not be avoided. Namibia has an advantage because we have the capacity with the optic fiber. We have a broadband surplus. We have the ability to export into the region. And it should serve us as well, so that we can ride the wave first and be the first to move, so that others can then become markets for Namibia. Other strategies and actions that are contained in the Harambee Prosperity Plan include reviewing the public procurement process to digitize it, to put it online, with the motivation that this would dehumanize or remove away the human element, which is subject to bias and subject to manipulation. So we're trying to put to strengthen a lot of our systems and processes by putting them online and digitizing, so that we can deliver public services more efficiently. Education. The education sector is reviewing the curriculum, and there is a tremendous opportunity here, both in the vocational education sector and in the basic and high school, secondary education, to embed the fundamentals for innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology subjects, so that the fundamentals and the principles are entrenched from the very beginning of the education. This is receiving priority, and I can confirm that through the vocational education curriculum review, subjects of innovation, design, and entrepreneurship are now being introduced or will be introduced into the vocational education training curriculum. Traditionally, it was only the traditional hand vocations of plumbing and artisanry, but now we are seeing that we are responding to the needs of industry, we are responding to the needs of the changing landscape, and we too need to build the human resource capacities to be able to deliver on those, to respond to the opportunities. Namibia is presented with an opportunity, as I begin to round up, beyond the scope of not only our own borders, but also looking into sub-Saharan Africa, up into the continent and the world around us. We have a strategic geographic location. We have got the necessary ICT technology. With increasing emphasis placed on innovation, the political will is there, and we recognize that the opportunity to develop, to strengthen, and to harness this sector and expertise and capacities is definitely present. Earlier this year, in 2016, January, the heads of state and government of the African Union agreed to and adopted the theme for 2017 of the African Year for Harnessing the Demographic Dividend for Accelerated Youth Empowerment. And to that end, Namibia will participate in the implementation of the roadmap, drafting the implementation roadmap. And as a proponent for innovation and this sector, I will certainly do my part to influence the priority so that we can respond as a nation to a roadmap that is seeking to, first of all, make an investment into the youth sector and to empower young people in order for nations and the continent to reap the demographic dividend. The average age of Namibia is 21. We are a very young nation, predominantly 60 under the age of 35. So we have an opportunity to harness that capacity to become productive. We have an opportunity to leverage and optimize the infrastructure that has been put in place to respond to the problems and provide solutions. And we believe that will propel and leapfrog our development miles ahead of the region. Thank you very much.
I hope that was very informative for everybody. Definitely, yeah. All right, now I'm going to keep my promise. Somebody complained I didn't have too many goods. So before I go back to our next item, so you had answered my question halfway. So I brought another one so I can give you. Okay. Yeah, no, I want to give you something myself. Is it?
Check out the rules of the conference. I won yesterday. They immediately cancel it because I'm in the old age group.
Okay. I'm just going to give like 2 questions soon so we can go to our next item. But don't worry, this is very easy. Here you go. So you said you use Twitter. And you use the internet. I'm not going to ask you about Twitter. All right, now most people make a mistake. They go WW and then they give you the website. So what does WWW stand for? Yeah, we can just...
World Wide Web.
Oh, that's very easy. Here you go. Win yourself a diary. That's nice.
A diary that I don't use.
You don't use a diary?
I'm digitized.
It's digitized. Okay. All right, I'm going to give away 3 more notebooks. This one's very easy questions. Linda, you want to take part? Is it like... Or are you also like in the senior youth? Okay. All right, now I'm not going to go to students. Before I continue, I'll just go back this side. Okay, there's like too many goods here. All right, randomly. Hello. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
All right, you look tech savvy. Here you go. Just hold this.
All right.
Yeah. All right, what does AC and DC stand for in power supply?
AC and DC?
Yeah.
No, I know it. I just
you know it, right?
I know it.
You know it, right? No whispering.
Yes.
There was too much whispering going on this side. I'm going to give you 3 things, courtesy of Schoolman's and TN. No, like a little notepad.
Actually, he wanted something, so he should answer
So
it.
you don't want to answer that?
Nah, he wanted it.
I don't know this one. AC and DC?
I don't know this one.
You got, this was like in physics. Like, okay, this, sorry. Oh, okay, somebody here. You didn't Google it, right? No. Okay.
It's alternating current and direct current.
All right. Just say that louder.
Alternating current and direct current.
All right, there you go. All right, so there's AC and DC. That's alternating current and direct current. Here you go. You can hold this one. You get a ruler, screen cleaner.
Thank you.
There's a lot of stuff. And the notepad and the pen. All right. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, for one answer, right?
The phone.
No, whoa. See, these are the fast guys I was talking about. All right, these are the fast guys I was talking about. I have got one more question. It's very easy, this one. Everybody watches series on their phones or laptops. So this one has got something to do with file extensions. You know, like, no, what I mean with a file extension is like, you know, every file has got its own extension. Not like Pioneer Spark extension 1, but like just to verify, to identify what type of file it is. So I'm just going to ask you what file extension I'm dealing with. Oh, you look very eager to win something. Sorry, I've been skipping you. Let me just come this side and, okay, just give him the microphone. Just give me your name.
Tangeni.
Tangeni. All right, now you've been raising your hand like 3 times, so I'm gonna ask you 3 file extensions, yeah? Very easy.
Okay, okay.
All right, so if you're on my computer and you see .tmp, TMP, what type of file is that? Usually when you're installing a program, those files are usually created in the C drive somewhere. TMP. You got the answer, right? He's got the answer at the back. Okay, give me the microphone. I wanna ask at the back there. I've got like some interesting stuff. No, this is how you learn these things. Like usually we ignore file extensions, but they're very important. You don't have to like change these things. So you should know. So what does TMP stand for? Sir?
That's a temporary file.
There you go. Temporary file. And then if you go into my computer and then you see a MPG file, what type of file am I dealing with?
LPG.
MPG.
MPG. Oh,
Yeah.
MPEG file. It's a movie video file.
Video file. Okay, here you go. You can get all the goods now.
Oh, thank you very
You can
much.
just share it with
Awesome.
your
Thank
friends.
you. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so that's a temporary file. Don't get scared. Usually when you're installing a program, these files are there temporarily. So do not delete those. They usually go off the computer themselves or just don't deal with them. So that's part of the things that we're going to be looking at a little bit later. But guys, that is all the time I have for now. What we're going to have is a tea break, but don't go home. The food might be good, and then you'll be like, yo, I think I'm done with this. Just stick around. We're going to have our exhibitions here. The young people that have come through with their innovations, they're going to be right here. So there's going to be that question-answer thing going on. And I don't know, I think I asked you to sit down quickly. Do you have any questions for the lady here who just gave us a nice presentation? Any questions? She talked about Sam, not the guy. Sam going to the market. Okay, no questions. So guys, the tea break is right outside there, but just when you walk out, do you have a question? Oh, you got a question. Okay, here you go.
As I was listening, I heard something about when we build an industry, we lose more people because of the machines that are developing. And the Harambe plan means we involve everyone. So by losing people, how do we involve everyone in the development of the country?
Oh, that question is for you. She said, okay, oh, you want to answer for her? You can go ahead.
I'm just thinking that, we are looking, we need to look at a wide variety of things. If we only look at one direction, then we will lose people. But we need to replace those people with new skills. For example, if government loses most of its employees because of e-governance, without having people to develop services, electronic services for government, we will lose out. We lose people, but we need to reskill our people through education. But you guys learning in your lifetime in the school is very different from what I learned in my lifetime in the school. So you come up with new skills with a different skill set. Future-proof, that the skills will be available and worthy of knowing in future. But if I'm a herder, I will lose my skills if I only pass looking after sheep to my sons and my sons to my grandsons and so on. But somewhere we need to, as a nation, reskill our people with different skills. So we will may not necessarily lose the bulk of the workers.
If I can also just add to that, the difference is really the state of development of the country. So there is a developed country and a developing country. In a developing country, we need to create more mass employment opportunities. But you will find in developed countries, if you take, for example, Germany, they have a lot of industry that is mechanized and they're exporting a lot of products on trade. But because of their level of development, they can now put a lot of money into services. So there's always a relationship, and services is always people. It needs human interface. You need someone to serve the meal. And that is where you see the opportunity for employment is to divert it into services. But we want to industrialize initially because that creates the volumes and the growth for economy. And then a second and a latter phase would then be to move into secondary avenues like services.
All right, thank you very much.
And they're not exclusive. You can do both at the same time. It's just which one you give greater priority to.
Thank you very much for that insightful answer. Did you get the... Okay, awesome. So just like 20 minutes, and then when we come back, please don't leave. We're still here.